If you're easily offended, leave now. What I'm about to say will make most people furious because it destroys the comfortable lies society tells itself about masculinity, success, and social value. But if you're a Sigma male, these truths will feel like coming home. This isn't a video for everyone. In fact, most people will hate what I'm about to say because truth is offensive to people living in comfortable delusion. But if you've always felt like the world operates on rules that don't apply to you, if you've been called selfish for prioritizing your own path, if you've been shamed for not caring about things everyone else obsesses over, this video will validate everything you've always known, but were told not to say. Today, we're saying the quiet parts out loud. We're speaking the uncomfortable truths that Sigma males live by, but society desperately wants suppressed. Everything online is filtered to keep you soft. Inside the members' room, it's not. I share what works: mindset, control, social leverage, discipline, the stuff that turns potential into power. You'll meet others who think for themselves, not for likes. Enter the room, or keep pretending the system works for you. Join by clicking the link in the description or pinned comment. 1. Most people's opinions about your life are completely worthless. Let's start with something that will immediately trigger 90% of viewers. The vast majority of advice, criticism, and opinions you receive from people are not just unhelpful, they're actively toxic to your success. Here's the brutal reality. Most people giving you advice about your life have failed at their own lives. They're projecting their fears, limitations, and regrets onto you, disguised as wisdom or concern. Your parents who tell you to play it safe, they played it safe and are quietly miserable. Your friends who say you're working too hard, they're mediocre and want company in their mediocrity. Your relatives who question your unconventional choices, they lack the courage to make unconventional choices themselves. This will offend people because society teaches us to value everyone's opinion equally and to consider all feedback as potentially valuable. But this is a lie designed to make average people feel important. The Sigma truth: your life, your rules. Unless someone has achieved what you want to achieve, their opinion about your path is worthless. You don't take fitness advice from fat people, financial advice from broke people, or life advice from unhappy people, period. Why this is specifically true for Sigma males: you operate on a different frequency than most people. Their advice is calibrated for their reality, not yours. Following their guidance would lead you to their results, which you don't want. The uncomfortable reality: listening to mediocre people will make you mediocre. Listening to fearful people will make you fearful. Listening to unsuccessful people will make you unsuccessful. Most people will hate this because they've built their self-worth around giving unsolicited advice and having their opinions validated. This truth strips away their perceived importance. The Sigma response: smile, nod, and do exactly what you are going to do anyway. Their opinions are background noise, not guidance. 2. You owe most people absolutely nothing. This will enrage the people pleasers and obligation pushers. You don't owe most people your time, energy, emotional labor, or participation in their lives. Here's what nobody wants to hear. Just because someone wants your attention doesn't mean they deserve it. Just because someone claims to need your help doesn't mean you're obligated to provide it. Just because you're related to someone doesn't mean you need to tolerate their toxicity. This will offend people because society runs on guilt and obligation. You're told that being a good person means sacrificing yourself for others, maintaining relationships that drain you, and putting everyone else's needs before your own. The Sigma truth: your time and energy are finite resources. Every yes to someone else is a no to yourself. Every obligation you accept is freedom you surrender. You're not being selfish. You're being strategic with your most valuable assets. Why this is specifically true for Sigma males. Your energy is your currency. You can't afford to spend it on people who provide no value in return. This isn't cruelty, it's economic efficiency applied to relationships. The uncomfortable reality? Most people's demands on your time and energy are exploitative rather than reciprocal. They want to extract value from you while offering nothing substantial in return. Here's what really offends people. When you enforce boundaries around your time and energy, you're essentially telling them they're not important enough to deserve unlimited access to you. This destroys their ego, and they'll label you as selfish, cold, or arrogant. The Sigma response: let them be offended. Their offense is proof that they wanted something from you that you don't want to give. Boundaries aren't negotiable. The nuclear truth: you don't owe toxic family members a relationship. You don't owe friends who drain you continued friendship. You don't owe anyone an explanation for prioritizing your peace over their expectations. 3. Most people are living mediocre lives and actively sabotaging anyone who tries to escape. This one will trigger everyone living on autopilot. The majority of people are not living authentic lives. They're following scripts written by society, fear, and conditioning. And they will absolutely try to pull you down if you attempt to break free. Here's the reality nobody wants to acknowledge. Most people hate their jobs but won't change them. They're in relationships that barely work but won't leave them. They have dreams they've completely abandoned but won't admit it. They're living quietly desperate lives disguised as being responsible. This will offend people because nobody wants to hear that they've wasted years living inauthentically, that their adult responsibilities are actually adult surrender, or that their criticism of your unconventional path is just jealousy wearing a mask. The Sigma truth. When you start living authentically, pursuing your actual goals, building your actual vision, making choices based on your values rather than social expectations, mediocre people will attack you. They'll call you selfish, unrealistic, irresponsible, or crazy. Why this is specifically true for Sigma males? Your natural independence and authentic path make other people deeply uncomfortable. You're living proof that their excuses are just excuses, that their limitations are self-imposed, and that they could have chosen differently. The uncomfortable reality. Mediocre people need you to stay mediocre with them. Your success makes them question their choices. Your happiness makes them confront their unhappiness. Your freedom makes them feel imprisoned. Here's what really offends people. You're not asking permission to live differently. You're not seeking validation for your choices. You're not apologizing for wanting more than the standard script offers. This independence is deeply threatening to people who need social approval to make decisions. The Sigma response. Recognize that criticism from mediocre people is actually validation that you're on the right path. If people living lives you don't want approve of your choices, you're probably making safe, conventional, limiting decisions. The nuclear truth. Most people prefer comfortable imprisonment to uncomfortable freedom. They'll shame you for choosing freedom because it forces them to confront that they've chosen imprisonment. 4. Being nice is weakness. Being respectful with strong boundaries is strength. This will trigger the people pleasers. Being nice, accommodating, non-confrontational, always agreeable isn't a virtue. It's often just cowardice disguised as kindness. Here's what society doesn't want you to know. Nice guys aren't nice. They're conflict avoidant. They agree when they want to disagree. They say yes when they mean no. They pretend to be okay when they're not. This isn't kindness. It's dishonesty wrapped in social acceptability. This will offend people because society celebrates nice people and demonizes those with strong boundaries as difficult, demanding, or high maintenance. But this is backwards. The Sigma truth. Being respectful, but unbending on your values, standards, and boundaries is far more authentic than being nice. You can treat people well while still enforcing non-negotiable standards for how they treat you. Why this is specifically true for Sigma males. Your natural directness and boundary enforcement get labeled as mean or cold, but they're actually just honest. You say no when you mean no. You enforce consequences when boundaries are violated. You don't pretend to be okay with things that aren't okay. The uncomfortable reality. Nice people are easy to manipulate because they won't enforce consequences. Strong people with clear boundaries are impossible to manipulate because they will. Here's what really offends people. When you stop being nice and start being authentic with boundaries. Manipulative people can no longer exploit you. They label your boundaries as mean because your self-protection interferes with their exploitation. The Sigma response. Be respectful, be fair, but be unmovable on your core standards. People who respect you will appreciate your clarity. People who wanted to use you will call you difficult. The nuclear truth. Nice people often harbor resentment because they violate their own boundaries to please others. Strong people with clear boundaries experience peace because they honor themselves. 5. Your loyalty should be earned, not freely given. This will enrage people who expect automatic loyalty. You don't owe anyone loyalty simply because of shared history, family connection, or past friendship. Loyalty must be earned through consistent character and mutual respect. Here's the truth that will make people furious. Just because you've known someone for 20 years doesn't mean they deserve your loyalty now. Just because someone is family doesn't mean they're entitled to unlimited access to your life. Just because someone helped you once doesn't mean you're indebted forever. This will offend people because society teaches that loyalty is unconditional, that family is family, old friends are old friends, and you should maintain these connections regardless of how toxic they become. The Sigma truth. Loyalty is a two-way street based on mutual respect, consistent character, and reciprocal value. When someone repeatedly violates your trust, disrespects your boundaries, or undermines your success, you're not obligated to remain loyal. Why this is specifically true for Sigma males. Your selective loyalty protects your energy and maintains the quality of your inner circle. You'd rather have 3 loyal, high-character people than 30 fair-weather friends. The uncomfortable reality, many people hide behind the concept of loyalty to avoid accountability for their behavior. They want the benefits of your loyalty without earning it through respectful treatment. Here's what really offends people. When you withdraw loyalty from someone who hasn't earned it, they accuse you of being disloyal. But you can't be disloyal to people who were never loyal to you. The Sigma response. Evaluate relationships based on present behavior, not past history. If someone is currently toxic, it doesn't matter how long you've known them. The nuclear truth. Keeping toxic people in your life out of misplaced loyalty is actually disloyalty to yourself. Your first loyalty should be to your own well-being and peace. Ever notice what all these offensive truths have in common? They all prioritize authenticity over social acceptance, personal standards over social obligation, and inner peace over external approval. Here's why these truths resonate with Sigma males. You've already learned through experience that living for others' approval creates misery. You've already discovered that enforcing boundaries creates peace. You've already realized that selective relationships create depth. But here's why these truths offend everyone else. Most people have built their entire identity around social acceptance. These truths dismantle that foundation and replace it with authentic autonomy. The meta pattern: everything that offends people in this video threatens their need for control over others. When you don't value their opinions, don't honor their demands on your time, don't stay mediocre with them, stop being nice, and make loyalty conditional, they lose all leverage over you. This is why they're offended. You become ungovernable. Here's what Sigma males understand that others don't. Being offensive to the wrong people is actually proof you're living correctly. If people pleasers are offended by your boundaries, good. If mediocre people are offended by your ambition, good. If manipulative people are offended by your discernment, good. If toxic people are offended by your standards, good. The people who should matter aren't offended by these truths. They're liberated by them. High character people respect boundaries. Ambitious people celebrate your success. Authentic people admire your standards. Quality people appreciate earned loyalty. The Sigma truth: you're not trying to be offensive. You're being authentic. If your authenticity offends people, that's information about them, not you. If you made it this far without getting offended, congratulations. You're probably a Sigma male who's been living these truths without permission to say them out loud. The question isn't whether these truths will offend people. It's whether you'll have the courage to live them anyway. You can spend your life managing other people's feelings about your choices, or you can spend it building the life you actually want. But you can't do both. Choose wisely. And when people get offended, remember, their offense is proof you're doing something right. If this video resonated with you while making you realize how many people would be offended by it, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with the word unapologetic and tell me which truth hit hardest. And if this video gave you permission to stop apologizing for living authentically, smash that like button and subscribe for more uncomfortable truths that only Sigma males can handle. Remember, the right people will love you for your boundaries. The wrong people will hate you for them. Choose your audience wisely. Until next time, stay unapologetic.